Hey everyone, and welcome back to Game 1 of the Grand Finals. We're watching Team SoloMid up against Cloud9. Going forward here, they're going to move into the play. Let's see who's playing what and where they're going. Bottom side of the map, the blue team, the green side, pristine Team SoloMid coming through. Young Bay on Neath, making his way into the jungle. We've got Trix Tank on Buckets, playing Guardian. Cubo Fred in the jungle. Mercury, we've got Lobster playing Augie. That hurt a little bit to say. Game Hunter on Apollo across the way. Cloud9, the top side of the map, the destroyed side. Their competitors here. Zalia playing Vomana in the solo lane. Suntouch in the support role with Sobek. Sayo on Isis, and Smek playing on her. Frostiak heading up the jungle with Freya.
So, like he said right off the bat, first thing to note here is that Lobster has Agni. Easily one of the most threatening things in the entire European scene. He doesn't get him often, but when he does, Lobster tends to perform in an amazing fashion. So expect a lot of things from him this game. Same thing for Game Hunter. Has been doing the solo carry in the right lane with Apollo. I'm interested to see why the Vomana pick. Little Baby has a lot of hard time with other soloers. In this case, he might have the safe push potential to not give Apollo those kills, but at the same time, early game, he's going to have to put himself in danger to get that clear. Left side, Young Bay and Trix Tank dancing around on top of this ward. They're going to be spotted out here. Don't know if Sobek's going to want to go in for the steal. Looks like he's just going to rotate over for the mid camps. And right side, we're going to see Cubo Fred going for solo red.
Belly flop on top of that blue up and clear that out. Solo red going to go to Mercury. They're not going to invade this time around. We've seen that a few times. It actually once today. It didn't really pan out too much. Cubo Fred's going to clear that one out, get the heal off from the Bumba's mask in the jungle, and then meet Game Hunter at the blue buff. A very efficient usage here. Instead of going for the mid camp and then both doing the damage buff, they split it up evenly and make sure that the solo goes to the jungler, who's very capable of taking out that damage buff by himself. Blue buff completed. The heal goes to Cubo Fred. They're joining up in the lane. Freya and Vomana have incredible push potential, and you can see that's already pushing up towards the tower. For those of you at home who are new to Smite, the damage from towers causes minions to be worth nothing in the gold department. If the tower hits any of these minions, they don't get any gold from them. So you can see a big propensity to forcing these minions off the tower, making sure that they even take a few shots and take a little bit of harassment so they don't lose that gold overall. Game Hunter taking some harassment here from Freya in the lane here, forcing this back. A good armored umbrella to force that out. Cubo Fred now punching through. Gonna see if they can't get some push off of this, and it's gonna be quite successful.
Early game, Sayo seems to be pressuring Lobster back enough, but Lobster still getting the clear with the very aggressive Path of Flames, of course, allowing himself to use that dash offensively, considering he still has vision of Freya. Freya still in the right lane as well. He might go for it here. He actually dashes through before the Spirit Ball hits and clears that wave instantaneously, putting more pressure onto Sayo. Bottom side of the map, we're seeing Cubo Fred get that small camp. Left side, we get a lot of push coming out from TSM. Surprisingly, at this point, we haven't seen Young Bay pick up First Blood.
Yeah, it's something we've seen every single time that on her play in the left side, not really going to be the same situation. Obviously, they end up losing that, so they're going to have on her on the opposite side for Cloud9. And of course, with that Guan Yu, I mean, that Guan Yu on her combination was gold. A good Spirit Arrow going to root Sun Touch to the ground here. Trix Tank going to back off from that one. Smek throwing out the base cast. Mercury, as well as the Ice. The Bandit's going to buy some time. One more shot, she'll do it. It's going to miss both of them. And now Cubo Fred could have been first blood, but due to the misplay from Isis and Freya, they could not land their basic attacks. For those of you who don't know, this is not a top-down MOBA. You don't just right-click on the characters to get the shots. You left-click and aim it. You have to lead it. It has travel time. It's much like archery. You're landing those shots by skill completely and not just auto-zoning on it. So he missed every single one of those, and Cubo Fred, with the wiggles, gets away.
I do want to hand a lot of that to Lobster, too. Taking that body block, being a perfect bodyguard in that sense, is going to save him. And, you know, granted, he is going to lose some farming time, but Freya actually opted to go back to the base as well, meaning with the speed boost that Cubo Fred gets inherently, he actually had a small lead there, considering they both picked up boots. Probably is a 2 to 4% movement speed increase, not to mention he's Mercury.
Mercury is as Mercury does, and he's coming to left lane and try to do exactly that. He doesn't have a Sonic Boom just yet, so they're a little bit more safe comparatively. Suntouch looking for the charge box, going for the belly flop. Spec's going to spot it out. Goes to Impale. There's a special delivery. Spirit Arrow is going to jump immediately. Do they have the damage? The minions actually got Cubo Fred to level 5. Sonic Boom is available. Does he go for it? No! He disengages on this one. There was no rotation from Freya on our screen, but they had no way of knowing that as the wards weren't there above. Actually, they could have seen her coming in if they went through the jungle there with the wards they had had active, but none knowing that she was far away. So they're going to let that one go and play very, very carefully.
Looks like Cloud9 is going to dedicate to the right side mid-camp, while TSM, I guess, neutrally decides to commit to the left side mid-camp. So no pressure from either side. Just free farm, free gold. Both teams pretty nervous here, I think. Both rocking those new sponsor tags, going up against each other, and they really want to make a name for themselves in this regard. Lobster, no vision of Freya, is going to stay safe here. Doesn't want to use his Path of Flames. Wants to save that for a defensive measure in case Freya rotates over. So he's just going to use his Noxious Fumes without the stun capability to ensure the clear goes. But here's the pressure on right side. Actually just uses the moves to get out of there. Will get some damage done, but Freya, I guess, not ready to dedicate to that just yet. Rotating in, we see Cubo Fred. They could probably turn on this, but they have to be careful. Baby, of course, super tanky in the right lane. Freya rotating out, kind of low mana, but still has her ultimate available to her.
See the Mercury coming through in the mid lane, looking for the Isis. Freya's going to come in the back lane, looking for opportunity on Apollo yet again. That Banish combination is so powerful for ganks. Honestly, you'll see Jungle Freya's just camp the mid and solo lane, throwing out the Banish for the Initiate. And if you have any kind of follow-up, it is good to go. Sobek making his way into the mid lane as he often does, but it looks like Bacchus and Neath are following in hot pursuit. He's going to ward behind the tier 1 tower and in the mid camps. Complete vision here. And not only this is something that has yet to be completely capitalized in Smite, is going behind towers and doing all kinds of stuff like this. With that vision there behind that tier 1 tower, they're going to know exactly what side of the jungle Mercury is on. You can see the pings coming out. He's going to walk across that and actually be spotted out if he goes down that way, which the junglers often take, and they'll know, is he on the left side, is he on the right side, are we safe to engage here, even without seeing him. So a big pick up there for Suntouch, actually trying to spearhead the direction into more of a creative word usage, and that one's probably not going to be countered at all. No one even goes back there and spend 135 gold for that. Trickstank going to get the execute there on the mid camps for 90 gold for himself. A big pickup there. Right side's going to go to the Mercury, who's going to back off very promptly.
So check it out. Lobster opting for tier 2 teleport, tier 2 purification beads. I guess he's fearful of the ganks, but really the purification beads at this point only really going to help with the Spirit Ball or the Banish for the ganks, at least in the early game, surprisingly enough. I expected him to go for the Aegis Amulet, but it looks like he's going to be going into Purification Beads. Doesn't want to get ganked, and good on him, wants to keep that pressure, but the early game pot that he purchased, the 400 pot, has worn off now, so he's going to be a little bit behind overall, considering he didn't earn a kill with it. Usually you want to do that and then get as aggressive as possible, but it didn't work out for him in this case. You can see him going back to base here with only 800 gold, meaning he's not going to have enough to finish up those boots. Left side, Trickstank rotating through the jungle. Looks like he's warding up a little bit. Not much happening in this regard. Bottom side again, Cubo Fred winding up to the small camp as both solo laners continue to try to box this out. Still 6 minutes into the game and no first blood.
A late Spirit Ball in the mid lane is going to prevent that possibility of damage output there on the Agni going forward here. So they're going to go ahead and right side push up against Zalia. Apollo's still doing well, and again we have the same situation where Game Hunter kind of gets pushed back until he finishes those chin sides and able to just brawl and trade blows with that that bruiser in that lane. Vamana not really very capable of taking out the Apollo in this situation, and once those chin sides are done, everything's going to change for him. Mid lane again, Freya still looking for opportunity. She has gone for at least 4 to 6 ganks with a Banish initiation and has nothing. Sonic Boom primed there, just adding the sound effect to taunt it out, had no intention of going in there. That's a very common tactic for Mercury. Just clap together, show the Sonic Boom, show presence, and make them kind of react to it. There's a Banish to release the mid camps here, to throw out the pulse there. Hand of the Gods comes out. There's a special delivery. Spirit Ball going to come out, going to hit Cubo. Circle up protection first. There's first blood. Mercury goes down. Cloud9 gets first blood against TSM. Bacchus goes in, and Pale coming out from the on her in the mid lane. Apollo's coming up. He's in the sky looking for opportunity to come down. He's not going to fight it. Didn't want to dunk down in the fight with low HP and low mana, and that is going to be the end of that engagement. First blood, Cloud9, they have a lead.
And they need to press it. TSM is known for being able to take an inch and turn it into a mile. So by taking this lead, Cloud9 really needs to press this advantage as hard as possible in lieu of allowing them to get back into the game right now. That first blood is going to give them a major opportunity, especially considering it's on Mercury, a character that really needs to get to the ender parts of the mid games, get into the end game, where he's going to be doing that hyper carry damage. The longer it takes for him to get there, the harder it is for TSM to control things like Gold Fury, to control things like Fire Giant, to push towers down. This will be their opportunity right now to start counter jungling, and I think they should take it.
Working to punch through here on this movement speed buff, pick it up. For those you don't know, he gets increased damage based on his movement speed, and that movement speed buff is going to count there. Agni in the mid lane, going to head on home here. He does have tier 2 teleport, about to finish off his boots in hand. He currently has 900 gold. That's going to drop down immediately as he does most likely finish off the penetration boots. Indeed, he does. Shoes of the Magi completed now with the penetration on his rain fire bombs. It's going to start hurting. Level 11 right now. You look at the graphs, you're going to see a 572 gold lead for Cloud9 due to first blood. Sobek lurking, man. He's getting behind the tower. Stun avoided immediately with a CC immunity from lurking the waters. Beautiful play from Suntouch. Avoids the hit from Mercury, avoids the stun from Agni, and walks casually away.
Luckily so. I think a little bit more to the I guess just aggressive, and they would have had it there, but it is what it is. I'm worried about what Game Hunter is doing here. He's actually fallen a little bit behind now, thanks to the fact that Xaylia earned that kill early on. He's 400 gold down. Now. Yeah, he does have the size, but he's working up towards the size.
Well, he has the gold now. He's going to go back.
Yeah, he has the gold in hand. He has to go back to get it. It looks like he's not going to do that just yet. He just picked up the blue buff. He wants to get in there and try to hold this off. Xaylia going back. Nice mesmerize to stop the push. Doesn't want to lose anything. Left side, Cuvo Fred finds himself a kill to even out the death there. What a this guy, man. His rotations are unbelievable. I just saw him on the right side of the map when we started talking about Game Hunter. Sonic Boom's going to go through, and then he's just going to be able to catch Smek on the back end. And we talked about this before. Mercury is so quick. He gets passive movement speed when he starts leveling up his 2. That's, of course, maximum velocity, giving him 10% on top of the 20% that he's getting from that speed buff. Smek had nowhere to go.
Yeah, that was pretty much cartons for him. He didn't really have a whole lot of places to do. I mean, Pop Desert Fear for the CC immunity, he had to disperse up, but that was pretty much it. He's going to go down there. So 1-for-1, Team SoloMid is now on the board 10 minutes into this match. You can see the gold is pretty much evened out. A small 400 gold lead for Cloud9 and a 900 experience lead, but this is a small difference. The mid camps are being pressured heavily by Freya here on the right side, looking to pick those up immediately. A lot of gold can be gained from that. Mercury's going to grab up the damage buff and trade this for the movement speed most likely. The duration should be ending quite soon here as he's jumping and waving his hands in excitement to pick that buff up. Damage is now his preference. I really actually, you know, to counter out the Mercury, I love the vision behind the towers. I love the vision that Suntouch is putting more forward to see, you know, preemptively where Mercury is, where he's coming, because it's very difficult to predict that Sonic Boom. It comes from far away. Those of you at home that don't know, Sonic Boom is Mercury's ultimate. He can travel very quickly, kind of like the Flash, immediately to a direction. He can change how far it goes, and it happens so fast, it is really hard to react to. So if you have knowledge ahead of time, the best ways to handle Mercury. Chin's Sai is now done there on the right side for Apollo, and Vamana, again, as we've seen before, is now in trouble if he tries to trade blows with this Apollo. And of course, we know Game Hunter is well known for landing those basic attacks. Agni in the mid lane, dashing in on top of Sayo. Does he have Spirit Ball? The Spirit Ball is going to land. Freya comes in for the banish. Does she have it? She's going to miss that one. Agni should be fine with this one. Does she have the radiant activation? She's going to hit it a few shots. He has no dash. There's the bombs. Valkyrie's discretion coming down. Lobster's going to get bursted, and Frostyak gets a solo kill on Team SoloMid's mid, Agni.
Not really sure why Lobster intended to try to fight that. Major misplay coming out there. He really should have just tried to run out as much as possible. There was no way he was going to compete with that damage. Cubo Fred coming in there, landing the special delivery, but it's not going to land onto much as that tanky Sobek basically just ignores his entire existence as Frostyak helps him clear out that wave. They're going to rotate over towards the left side where we're going to find Youngbei and Smek continuing in this boxing match. Youngbei actually down a level right now. Cloud9 up 700 gold and almost 2,000 experience as Game Hunter over in the right lane continues to try to fight Xaylia, but look at the Xaylia build right now. He gets Witchstone for extra physical protection, which is going to help him with Anka the Bear, which converts physical protection into physical power, along with his passive, which also converts that physical damage into physical protection into physical power. And now he's going directly into most likely Hastened Fatalis, which will allow him to grow big and just use his ultimate repeatedly without incurring that movement penalty that would normally be applied when he attacks.
Yeah, that's what they're looking for, and with that movement speed, like you said, without that penalty and his ultimate, he can sit there and hit and hit and hit. With his ultimate doing area of effect basic attacks, he can shred a lot of players at once, especially if they get, you know, a good grab from Suntouch and everyone's grouping up or they're going for an objective. Vamana can just get in here and do his job. There's the Umbrella Ring to try to slow down. Game Hunter's going to dash away with the moves. Bacchus coming forward here. 2 bombs available. You can definitely tell the bombs availability for those of you who don't know or haven't seen Agni. If you zoom in here on his head, you'll see 3 halo dots around his head. That signifies how many bombs he has available. Currently he has 3. It's the rain meteor that comes from the sky. He has 3 available, and those are actually, they cost no mana, so he can harass freely with those. Generally you'll see Agni's hang out with about 2 of them. He's going to throw down some there, and you can see the Halo still hanging out with 3 on top of it. Freya in the jungle looking for opportunity to pick up the Agni here, but Mercury as well, Bacchus are in the area. Bacchus might find the Freya here. He's going to actually walk right by it. One of the downsides of third-person cameras is you don't always see what's next to you and what's behind you. So Bacchus, as you can see from his vision, didn't even see the Freya there. He's going to walk past it and find a Sobek in the jungle. Going back up to the top view here, we see Mercury going in the mid lane trying to find something, but they're going to back off.
Right, rotating it, just going to get the blue buff for free here. It doesn't look like they're trying to get too aggressive, and this is kind of what I was talking about. This is their opportunity to be aggressive. They need to try to get something done here to ensure that they can press this lead, because they're giving TSM too much time to farm, too much time to rotate. They need to make sure that they're using this advantage properly. While small, of course, they still have a small push, and they need to take it, and it's kind of frustrating to watch this. It seems like Cloud9 is letting the TSM tag get to them here, and they don't want to go for objectives or push for those risky opportunities, even though they're in their advantage right now.
Yeah, they need to be careful about how this changes quickly. Spirit Ball on top of Cubo, forcing the purification beads, cleansing that off of him. Belch the Guts coming out, stunning out the Sile. There's one bomb coming out from Lobster, making some harassment come out. Spirit Ball going to guarantee that mid camp. But of course, it was already cleared out. Right side, we have a Game Hunter forcing it away again. I mean, we have a situation now where it's very slow. Cloud9's up 1 kill. You look at the gold graph, they're slightly ahead in gold, 400, slightly ahead in experience, 700, 1,000 now. Actually, they're clearing out the jungle camps. So it's looking good for Cloud9, and if they get a big win here, whether it be, 2 picks in a Gold Fury, a pick in a tower, it can change immediately in their favor with lots of gravity. Mid lane, Neath, ultimate path of flames, Flame Wave, there goes a kill. Cubo Fred gets the hit with a Sonic Boom. Actually, no, that was a Sonic Boom. That was fast. I honestly didn't even see it. I expect that to be a Flame Wave, but Mercury sneaks it out from under Agni's nose with a kill. 2 for 2 now. TSM ties up the gold and cleans out the experience lead.
Right now, Cubo has really brought himself back. He gave up first blood, now winds up 2 for 1. And again, we see him going for this very unorthodox build of Warrior Tabi into Jotun's Wrath. Now, this is going to give him cooldown reduction, physical power, some penetration, a little bit of mana, which it may be a wasted stat in this case. But at the same time, he has opted away for things like Chin Size, opted away from Heartseeker, things that are going to give him passive damage on his auto attacks, or even extra movement speed, which will also give him passive damage. He's looking for extra Sonic Booms. He's looking for more special deliveries, which is going to allow him to overall control the map a little bit better. But in those late game team fights, he's not going to have as much unless he goes for it. But he does get the special delivery there. The bomb stun's going to miss. Force into Valkyrie's discretion. Sun Touch looking right now for a charge prey opportunity. He'll find one in Bacchus, but I don't think he's going to want to take that. Over on the left side, we see more pressure coming out. Youngbei gets pushed back here. Smek has an opportunity. Now that glowing on the ground, that was unraveled. That would have healed him up a little bit, but great play coming out from Smek there, especially after the missed opportunity in the mid's going to put Cloud9 back in the lead, if not by much. But again, they need to press this advantage.
It's something that needs to be said. When you leave on her alone in the 1v1 situation, the current meta state is where, after a certain while, the support tanks, the Guardians, start making their way to the mid lane to assist with ganks, to get the mid camps, get the gold, and you'll have a Hunter versus Hunter situation in the 2v2 long lane. The problem is if you leave on her alone with Neath, on her's passive reduces the amount of physical damage that Neath will do when he hits her with a basic attack. So on her has a really good engagement against the Neath, and like DM alliterated to you, that Unravel Glow on the ground would have healed her up, but the damage was already done. Desert Fury makes on her CC immune, and prior to that, Neath had used her ultimate, that arrow you see coming across the lane there towards the mid lane, and didn't have it available, so was unable to rotate that back around. So unfortunately enough, a free kill for On Her, and On Her is going to start getting stronger. 7,900 gold for the On Her. Neath is 7,400, so we're 300 differential in goal between these two hunters. Onher's in a great spot. Sobek coming in here, trying to make things better. Impale comes out, gonna get it. The beads get activated. Actually, a Sonic Boom coming through, but not gonna hit. CCM is already there. Neathrozer comes out. There goes the hit. Onher's jumping away. Doesn't get it in time. There goes a few shots from Apollo, who's already here getting away. There's the Intoxicate. Sun Touch goes down. Team SoloMid coming in with the big rotation. Lobster gets taken out. Vamana's up into his ultimate. The big baby has been revealed. QO Fred in a lot of trouble here. Apollo, he's going up into the air. He wants the duck. Is he going to get it? He's got a lot of damage there on the France. So beautiful. One shot. QO Fred gets it with the clear. And now Sayo belly flopped. One hit. Candy Cane death for the Isis in the lane, and Zalia left all alone. He has no friends. Trix Tank gonna try and chase him down, but no damage left. That is gonna be a huge split for them, and now all of a sudden we have a 3-for-4 exchange in favor of TSM.
Check out the graph, Drybear. 100 gold, 100 experience separates these two teams at 18 minutes. That is almost unheard of at this point. Zalia right now in the duo trying to push this down. You see him using that ultimate with the Hasten Fatalis. He does manage to find a kill at the end there, but a 3-for-4 is going to completely split this up. A beautiful rotation coming out from Lobster towards the middle of that team fight allowed them to get back on the footing they needed to be after the brilliant push that came out from Freya. Overall, no objectives pushed in the meantime. It just seems like TSM got a small advantage in that, and now the game is dead even.
Dead even 6-6. 19 minutes into this match is looking to be the finals that everyone deserves today. Team SoloMid going up against Cloud9 HyperX, making this worth it. A Serenade in the right lane is going to slow down Zalia, trying to chase down Game Hunter there. We see the mid camps being picked up by Lobster on Ogg. The damage buff is available, and there goes Kivo Fred on his merry way to pick that damage buff up. Shin Sais have been completed by the Onher. Freya about to finish that demonic grip. This is an attack speed item that gives you magical power, but when you finish it, the passive gives you stacking penetration. Freya, she's gonna love it. She's gonna do it those basic attacks. Freya is a magical damage dealer, more of an assassin really in the jungle that plays off of basic attacks as you've seen so far, so that's going to benefit her greatly. Sun Touch is going to go for Creeping Curse. I like that item a lot on Sobek. Slows down and also bridges the gap between, you know, you have a Charge Prey, you have a Sickening Strike, you have a Tail Whip, your ultimate's off cooldown, you don't really have anything to do. Creeping Curse slows it out. Belly Flop in the left lane, Belch the Gods Impale is available, going to throw back the Trix Tank and slow him down, but here comes the Freya.
They might have an opportunity to get something done here. I don't know. Yeah, it looks like she did walk over a ward, so they're going to spot that out. Missed Charge Prey ensures that Youngbei will be safe here. Youngbei maybe not too acclimated to this Neath role comparatively to the Onher that he's been playing almost every game. Right side, Game Hunter has forced Zalia into that sleeping giant form. The Colossal Fury has been activated. Sun Touch trying to fight for these mid camps with Trix Tank, but unfortunately it looks like TSM's in trouble here. Belly Flop's going to hit too. He's stunned out. They're putting a lot of damage into this tank here. It looks like they are going to grab him, but can they turn this around? Sonic Boom finds Frostiak. He's gone. Siles down right there. He's gone. And now they're chasing down Sun. This could be a 3-for-1. Vermana has rotated over, but he does not have his ultimate available. Chasing it down. The moves are used. Smek on his heels. Turn and tail. And he's out. A quick 3-for-1 for TSM. Are going to turn this one into a Gold Fury.
There's the Gold Fury pickup here. There's not a whole lot that Cloud9 can do about it. The Hand of the Gods are available for Sobek, who is dead. Vamana's in the area, but Tier 1 Hand of the Gods with that small amount of damage is not going to do it. For those of you at home who don't know, the actives in this game have 3 tiers. The Tier 1 of Hand of the Gods does damage, true damage, 480 no less, to minions around you. But at Tier 2 and Tier 3, it has an execute for objectives not available. Zalia in a lot of trouble, uses to clear the path to get away. He's going to be fine for the time being. No, ultimate was available there, so he's going to make it out, going to make it back towards the mid camp to make sure that this tower doesn't go down. It's getting lower and lower. This could be a free 1K for TSM, and it's gonna be that on top of the Gold Fury, on top of the exchange there. They're gonna be 3,700 gold up at 22 minutes in this game. They turn that instantaneously into a lead.
Look at the graph. It's just, okay, a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit down, a little bit down, a little bit up, a little bit down, a little bit down, and then spikes right back up in TSM's favor after one huge team fight. They take the mid camp, they take 3-for-1, they grab the Gold Fury, they take the tower. Like we said, you give TSM an inch, they're gonna take a mile.
they're so well practiced. They're so prepared. It's such an incredible team, and each individual player has their own merits, and it's so hard to take anything away from them. Game Hunter going to go for his Titan's Bane start yet again, and we saw him previously. I mean, he was out there. He was doing what he needed to do. He was getting there. You see him teleport to the right lane yet again. That rotation from Apollo is so hard to control. He comes to the sky. He can travel across the entire map, and that rotation is beautiful. Vamana's going to leave his lane after pushing it up to try and help with the mid camps. Left camp is available. Bak is going to try and contest this one. Looks like he's going to get it for free as Sobek has already backed off there. At this point, Cubo Fred is finished with the Malice. Like you said, rush the Jotun's Wrath, and now going into Deathbringer. When that Deathbringer is done, characters like Onher, characters like Fred, characters like Isis are going to have a lot of trouble with that single target damage that Mercury is able to put out. One of the few hyper carries we have in Smite, and he's a devastating one at that.
You know, he gives himself a huge amount of attack speed, not to mention has incredible CC and very quick movement. Once he's finished items like Deathbringer, which he's working on now, he becomes an absolute terror, especially considering the fact that he did build Jotuns for that penetration, as we talked about earlier, and then has finished up his Malice, giving him a small amount of attack speed, 40% chance, and 25 physical power. A very, very potent item on a character that's already extremely dangerous.
Exactly right. In the late game, it gets to the point where you have to have purification beads or you will die. You're going to see Cloud9 actually going along those lines. Tier 3 purification beads completed on Isis, Onher, and Freya. The 3 targets I previously mentioned that are prime for Mercury, they pick up those beads and they pick them up early. Tier 3 purification beads, when fully upgraded, has a 90-second cooldown and also reduces your cooldowns by 5 seconds. So a big, big pickup there. You can see the 3-second immunity also follows afterwards on screen with the stats detailed for you. It's a big item that's almost necessary for Mercury, given the fact that not only is it going to spin by you with that sonic boom, which you cannot prepare yourself for unless you have preemptive vision. Not only that, but he's going to grab you with a special delivery, hold you against it, throw you against a wall, and beat you to death with his fists, as is Mercury's style. And he's a tough character to deal with, and for good reason. He gets banned out in almost every single game. This time we saw him not banned, and first picked immediately. TSM knows the value of him, and they're going to leverage it properly here. Freya is going directly into Rod. She wants that damage, and you know there's a cause for it. She needs to get picks. She's an assassin. If she's not getting those picks, she's not doing her team any favors.
Trix Tank at the mid camp along with Cubo Fred gonna get this one for free. Fire Giant still available. Gold Fury not up for a minute 20. All other objectives aside from mid tower on the red side are still available, and yet we see a 4,300 gold disparity with only 2 kills in between both TSM and Cloud9. The value of kills, Drybear, has just been so decreased, and not only in gold, but just the overall farm potential in the game was so high to begin with. But with the reduction in gold that you got from kills roughly 2 months ago, you really see who the stronger teams wind up coming out in the end, just because of how well they can farm. And in this case, TSM is showing that skill in spades, allowing themselves to get so far ahead with just such a small advantage.
That's what they're holding on to, and they need to make sure that it doesn't get any smaller. Mid lane, we have Mercury, Agni, and Bacchus meeting up here. Sobek going to rotate over towards the gold tier area, going to start backing onto this ward. Will they grab him up? This Noxious Fume slows him down. The bomb comes down just to pressure him out. Vamana and Apollo going to meet up here in the jungle. Vamana elected to go for Stone of Gaia for that massive regeneration, as well as the magic protection against the Agni, as well as the Bacchus, surprisingly enough. I'm surprised to see the Stone of Gaia. I mean, really, he's just buying it for the passive, but I mean, your main contenders are Apollo, Mercury, and Neath, and you're buying magic protection. Here comes the damage. Apollo decides to pressure this one, and he's gonna get some damage up. But look at the regeneration. Vamana still alive, smashing down. Does he have it? The Serenade comes out. There's the bomb. The Neath ultimate's gonna come through. There's the hit, and the tower finishes it off there. The flames of defeat come through, and Vamana goes down. A big pick for TSM, and Apollo played that beautifully, waited for his team to rotate, and had full faith in his teammates.
Honestly, that was probably due to Stone of Gaia. Had he opted for Hide of the Urchin, he would have had extra physical protection to deal with both the tower and Apollo. He would have had extra health to regenerate with that passive. Now remember, guys, his ultimate gives him 5% of his health back per second while he's in that form. So had he built more health, he would have had more health to regenerate. I mean, that's just how it works. Jumping in here, TSM gets a free Gold Fury, taking no damage from anyone, and now Trix Tank jumping in, pressuring Sayo. I don't think much is going to come out of this one, but still another 1,500 gold is a huge pressure right there. 63 nothing they can do. Frostiak has been caught out completely. Game Hunter has an opportunity to get a kill here. He might be able to get this kill. If he gets this, it's going to put TSM at a huge advantage because that's a lot of the damage that Cloud9 is able to put out. TSM needs, again, to pressure right now. Go for Gold Fury. Look for another tower, or rather, not the Gold Fury, the Fire Giant, which is still up. They could really turn onto Sayo and dive this tower right now. The pressure and the overall the actuality of this fight could be intense. They could end the game off a fight like this. They have to have the pressure for it, though. But great rotation coming over from SunTouch is going to stop them in their tracks. Look at this. They could actually turn this around. Charge Prey already down. Major Look doing damage. Game Hunter just trying to get away. He's going to take a lot of damage from this ultimate. He tries to do so beautiful. He gets hit by Sayo's ultimate at the end. Circle of Protection was good. If they're trying to turn it around, Cubo gets found. Cloud9 answering back here. Sayo on his heels is going to be forced to escape here. And look at this, out of nowhere, 3 for 1. Cloud9 is able to bring it back. Great play.
That was amazing, and Vamana waited long enough to be able to get his ultimate off, and you could hear the hit, the hit, the hit, the hit. Vamana was able to get tons of damage out, and just literally unkillable at this point. A beautiful rotation came out from Mercury and Agni, but it just wasn't enough. Cloud9 had it there. Great positioning, good positioning from the individual players, from the overall team. The engagement was proper, and now not only are they going to get 3 kills in the right lane, they're going to get a mid tower. The right tower is already down. The mid tower for Cloud9 is down, but look at the graph, already sloping downward. The Gold Fury is going to spawn in 3 minutes. Neath by herself, the left lane. Look at this rotation. Neath, she needs to get out of dodge. Honestly, this tower may not even be safe at this point. If the teleports may come out, there's one to save it out. So it looks like the team is available in time. Game Hunter are going to hold this one down. Bach is holding down the mid lane for the time being, but you know, that big baby doing work right now. 29 minutes into this match, 11-10, 3,300 gold still in favor of TSM, but Cloud9, they're not giving it away for free.
Not too much to pressure here. They need to make sure on both teams that all objectives are defended. They're down a tower right now, but still up in gold, which gives them a fair advantage, as that is effectively a free 1,000 gold they'll be able to earn throughout this game. Of course, Fire Giant is becoming more and more threatening at this point, as we see both teams kind of hovering on that side of the map, not letting it go for free. Youngbei pushing into the tower. We see Smek rotating over to ensure that not too much experience will be lost here. At this point in the game, I think both teams are going to start being a little bit more safely. Cloud9, I guess, answer to that push they were doing is going to put TSM, I guess, a little bit more on the defensive. They want to make sure that TSM understands that they still have a presence in this game, and that a 6K lead, while relevant, is not going to be a major factor in, you know, the team fights overall, especially when we see characters like Vamana with almost full build becoming very hard to kill, a lot of attack speed throughout, and going for that Hasten Fatalis, and he's going to be very dangerous. Level 20. We actually have 7 level 20s total throughout the game. Frostiak very close as well. Trix Tank on TSM actually a little bit farther behind SunTouch, which is maybe a disparity that we wouldn't have expected, given that TSM was so far ahead at one point. And again, we see SunTouch for the second game in a row opting out of Eye of Providence and into Curse, this time going for Enfeebling Curse, which I think is a good idea, considering shutting down some of Mercury's attack speed is going to be very beneficial.
Bombs mid lane, SunTouch forced back. The mid camps did go in their favor. But when you're going up against a double hunter team, it does wonders. Even specifically Apollo, who relies heavily on his attack speed, and generally Apollos will, you know, lean on their passive. His passive is called Audacity, and what this does is once he fills up his passive meter, he gets double attack speed for those 5 attacks. So he has a lot of attack speed built into his kit, but if you get limited, Enfeebling Curse right here will reduce his attack speed by 30%, along with his movement speed by 40%. That also shuts down characters like Mercury, who like to have the ability of free movement. If they get slowed or shut down, Mercury can get bursted easily, especially since he's going for that kind of assassin role, high amounts of crits, high amounts of penetration, and getting the punches that he wants to take them out there. You see the big crits. I mean, look at the crits on scrim. 615, 515, 560, 600. He's hitting so hard right now, and it can only get bigger from here. Across the way, we're going to see Vamana and Freya grouping up in the mid lane, kind of push this up. That tower, of course, is already dead to rights. Looking at the charts, we're going to see a 3,700 gold lead for TSM. TSM bottoming out right now. That's going to be a little bit shallow. 4,500 experience has been leveled out as well, so not any big gains yet. And like you mentioned, both teams, they're playing careful. Ice is getting jumped on the right side. Cubo, Fred on Mercury's going to bait out the circle of protection, going to get it there. Ice is kind of jumping the gun, a little bit scared about the damage output from Mercury, but can you blame her? Anyone who has been two-shotted by Mercury knows how quickly he can kill you off, so pop that preemptively. The Gold Fury is going to get started up here by Cloud9. The bomb comes down a little bit too late there. Xaylia taking some harassment, but Cloud9 gets a free Gold Fury, uncontested. Apollo's pushing the right side, but Vamana's going to teleport over to defend that up. So they got a free Gold Fury, no kills warranted, no towers taken out. That's going to drop the lead to 2,500 gold in favor of TSM.
Look at the crits and the damage coming out from Game Hunter, forcing him into the ultimate under his own tower. Is just going to look to try to turn this tower down. Burns it, and look at the damage. 237 versus 341. Frostiak rotates over, and he gets the banish. Game Hunter's turned on his tail here. Will he be able to find anything? He is not getting up. That chariot's falling right into the dirt. A 1,000 gold swing there for TSM, but they're going to take some of it back with that Apollo kill. And now Xaylia is going to get some free farm here. And while he doesn't need the experience, I'm sure the gold is very much welcomed.
Oh, absolutely, and that tower did go down. It's going to benefit them even more. 2,800 gold in their favor. Sonic Boom comes out, not going to land, but there's a special delivery. Punch, crit! Look at the damage that Mercury is able to pull out here. Even characters like Vamana with tons of physical protection and HP regeneration, Mercury just turns them into butter, taking him down the right side, and that's exactly what you can expect from characters like Mercury. Another kill for TSM, 12-11 right now, 33 minutes and in. Lobster rotates to the left side, trying to find Suntouch, gonna get the stun off there, and Pale, beautiful and Pale there by Smek. Textbook play, gets him off Sobek and backs off immediately, not wasting any time, and that is going to be the end of that engagement. Bacchus making his way to the top side of the jungle, looking to find Freya or possibly a jungle buff if he can grab it, getting belly flop away and get rid of that ward with his breath. That's how cool he is. His breath takes out wards. The blue buff going to be taken out on the right side of the map. Looks like Apollo's going to head over and grab that one up. 3 ultimates still available on TSM, 4 on Cloud9. Vamana, of course, did not have his ultimate available, but look at this. Vamana has completed his very cheap build and has decided to buy a physical potion pot and 3 counter wards right now. 34 minutes in this match, because most of his items are relatively cheap. He has finished all the items he wants, and now he's going for the potions.
Well, he has that extra 20 damage going to be pushed on here. I'm surprised Vamana actually hasn't opted into more physical defense. Of course, that would not only work with his passive to give him more defense, or rather more damage, but it would also work with the passive given from Ankh of the Bear, where 15% of the physical protection is converted over. After the Witchstone, he really didn't opt into anything else. In fact, going for Stone of Gaia instead of something like we talked about earlier, Hide of the Urchin, which would give him both physical and magical protection, but you can't really argue with it at this point. 4-3 is a good score. He maintains top gold in the game at 17,000 as Cloud9 continues to try to, bring the game back into their favor. TSM still leads 3,300 gold, 3,600 experience, though that difference is starting to wane as the game goes longer and longer as gold and experience become worth less and less.
That's exactly right, and Vaughn, I'm going to try to leverage that early transition into the late game, kind of right as the end of the mid game starts to come about. He's going to start popping that ultimate and just sticking to targets like glue and trying to do as much damage as he possibly can. And honestly, with Stone of Gaia, with the physical protection, the small amount that he has now, with his ultimate ticking, giving him a large portion of his maximum HP every single second, he will be able to keep himself alive for that duration. We have a pause coming out here from Youngbei on TSM. Looks like the voice communication disconnected for a second. It honestly shouldn't be that long of a pause. It looks like it was about 2 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and fast forward through this one. Magic's Blessing, 1 picked up by Bacchus. Actually the Watcher's Gift still available. Cuvo, Fred has finished Titan's Bane. If he finishes that Chin size, he's gonna be terrifying.
I'm surprised he actually hasn't opted for Chin size earlier, especially considering the fact that the Deathbringer is going to scale better with attack speed than penetration. But even so, working up either of those items at this point is huge. He does need to finish up those Chin size. It looks like he's about 1,500 gold out, and then of course needs another 300 gold to finish up the Fists of the Gods to ensure that he gets that extra stun potential as well. Mid lane, stuns coming out on both ends. Lobster and Sayo trading blows, but it looks like Lobster's going to win the fight there as he pushes the wave deep. Right side, Vamana looking to rotate over. Left side, another push potential coming out from Youngbei, and Smek's just kind of allowing this to happen. Wants to stay safe. There's not a lot of vision on the map. He doesn't know where Mercury is, so great play coming out there. Overall, we still have a minute left till Gold Fury, Fire Giant still on the map, and we still see a total of 8 towers remaining. Both teams afraid to really take a step into enemy territory. Even when they do, they're very quick to rotate out. So 12 to 11 at 36 minutes, 3,000 gold still separates the teams.
Exactly right, but might be getting smaller as Neither gets jumped on the left line. Look at the charge play. Purification means it activated and teleport comes out from the Agni. There goes the charge. Agni in trouble here. The burst damage kills him in mid-dash. He can't even get away from that one. Now jumping away. A huge pick for Cloud9. Agni was a big, crucial part of their team fight. Look at Freya from the side, coming through rotation, looking for the banish opportunity. Will she find it? Looks like she's going to back off from this one, but now this tower is under pressure. The Gold Fury is going to spawn in 20 seconds, so they have that on the follow-up as well. Mercury looking for the Sonic Boom, goes for it. Frostiak gets grabbed up. A few punches, gets erased from the team fight. Mercury's damage is insane. And now Zalia going big, baby. Colossal Fury has been activated. He's regenerating his maximum HP right now and should be okay for the time being. Trix Tank stunned by the Spirit Ball, but not done yet. Game Hunter going up onto the chariot, flying across the sky. Sayo, the bomb comes down. The Needs ultimate. He blinks away from it. The Spirit Ball to the face and gets shut down. Sayo should be fine for the time being. Beautiful play there. Countered every single action on his face, and he's going to get away from that one. Trix Tank. Oh no, the ball comes out. Apollo tries to get the kill. Vamana gets the hit, and Apollo goes down. Sayo somehow is still alive. How is this even possible? Fist of the Gods. Bulwark hope active. Gonna pop right through there. Trix Tank gets body blocked to the wall and burned down inside of the jungle. Mercury by his lonesome running through the jungle, and they're gonna get a Gold Fury.
You know, honestly, they should really just skip the Gold Fury, immediately put themselves onto that Fire Giant trail. They still have 4 up. 3 members of TSM are ready to defend, but they have the Hand of the Gods level 3. It looks like they're going to play this one safely. They're just going to be going for the Gold Fury, a free 1,500 damage. Zalia clearing out some wards there. They're going to turn their sights back. The damage actually super low against objectives, but that's going to change with Smek rotating over, has that carry damage. The Hunters burn that down. Hand of the Gods will execute, and that'll be 1,500 gold added to Cloud9. And look at this, 1,400 gold now in favor of C9. TSM has to rotate over to protect the Fire Giant, but they actually have an opportunity for a push here.
They're going to try for it here. See that Vamana and Freya in the jungle here going across the way. They're going to do this blue buff world where the Fire Giant is available. See if they can grab this up. Not really having the opportunity to do so. Tier 3 Hand of the Gods is on both the Guardians at this point. That is going to be the active that does execute the objective so they can clear it out. 25% health is the mark they want to hit. Each tick of the HP bar on the objectives signifies 10%. So just about 2.5 bars is where you want to hit that active and just completely decimate the Fire Giant and secure it. So look for both Sobek, the Crocodile here, and Trix Tank playing Bacchus here, the drunk god on the way over to see if they can get in range to get that Fire Giant. It is a melee range ability, so they have to be nearby to get that Fire Giant's execution there. Sile finishing off his shard now to get that extra penetration on the back end. Spirit Balls and Wing Gusts as well as Circle Protection going to do tons of damage here. They're starting the Fire Giant. They have the vision. They know what's coming neat. They're going on top of it. The basic attacks coming out. Frostiak gets advantage. They're going to get it immediately and disengage. That damage!
Whoa! I looked over to see what Bacchus was doing. Tells me they destroyed the FG. Cloud9 has this game to lose right now. They could push this up, really press this advantage, take some objectives, maybe even a Phoenix off of this. I can't believe they were able to sneak that one that fast. The sneaky Cloud9 are definitely floating high right now, as look at the damage coming through. They barely even took anything off of that, and by the time they get over to the right side to the next tier 2, you know that health will already be regen thanks to the buff granted to them by that Fire Giant. So check this out, moving into the second tier 2, the extra damage granted by the buff as well, burning that down instantaneously. 5 members now of TSM just shoved underneath their Phoenix as Cloud9 awaits their creep wave, I think. I don't think they realize that it's not coming.
It's pretty far behind. Here are the minions, and here are the players. They're looking for it. They're not going to find it. Of course, they do have that Fire Giant buff available. Freya has Polynomicon Rod and that Shard for penetration. She gets the shot in. She's going to get the kill. She can do tons of damage here. Mercury looking for opportunity to Sonic Boom through. Does he find anybody? I mean, Freya obviously is his target. On her, also a great target as well. Sonic Boom is available. Trix Tank buying some time. Sobek dashes too far forward. Not a great target, but Zalia taking tons here. Spirit Ball, look for the initiation. It's going to be slow here. There goes the jump on top of it. Trix Tank taking harassment. Sonic Boom gets Frostiak, kills him before she can fly away. Huge damage coming through. Freya already down, and look, made you look on top of Zaylee. Dropping low, the crits, he wants it. Spirit Arrow, one more hit, gets the Vamana, a 2-0 exchange for TSM. Now going for Vamana's up. Gonna go back. They're already killed. 2-0 exchange. Game Hunter dropping low here. Actually take a lot of harassment. Desert Fury to get him off. On her just says, go away, please. I don't want any more shots to my face. They're gonna chase it through. Good impale there as they jump at Sayo. Getting low. There's the Wind Gust. Does he have it? Gets the kill on Mercury and now runs away. Spirit Ball does not stop the belch of the gods, but the silence certainly will. Sayo is the backpedaling champion of Earth, and he's coming through. The Flame Wave finally kills him off. And now Smek is dropping low. They're going to disengage from this one, but Sayo...
These baits.
My God.
Oh, I can't believe how long he was able to stay alive, allowing his team to turn a very drastic team fight failure into a recoverable mechanic there. Still, it looks like 2 people remain with that Fire Giant buff. On Cloud9, TSM eagerly awaiting the next 90 seconds to be over so that Fire Giant buff will be gone. After that, we'll wait 1 more minute for FG to respawn, and I'm sure that's going to be the next point of contention. I don't think either team is going to get greedy enough to pressure too much. Game Hunter, of course, at this point knows that he's going to be safe, takes that tower down before that teleport's able to go off, and he will be able to get out of there. In this game, guys, for those of you who don't know, the teleports do not make the objective invincible. They can be killed immediately. Check out the chase coming out here from Smek. Smek has used everything. Game Hunter turns around and just erases him. Look at that. Smek is going to be on cooldown now for 70 seconds, and it's going to be a long 70 seconds indeed.
It certainly will, especially given the fact that he's going to drop the stacks on his Heartseeker. They end up going for the Executioner there for the Shred on top of that. Arnie's going to pick up the damage buff and go back into the jungle. Freya and Vamana have respawned as they were the first ones to die in that previous engagement, though they did get a quick Fire Giant. Honestly, so quick, and I think this is a little bit of a lesson to Team SoloMid right now. If you're going to contest the Fire Giant, make sure you're there and you're ready, because Cloud9's damage right now is incredible, able to shred the Fire Giant in under a few seconds, and that is what they're worried about. Mid tower gonna take some harassment. Spirit Ball doing massive damage from over the wall. Sayo does not mess around with legendary Isis. My God, here comes the pressure on the right side though, taking a little bit of damage there. There goes the circle protection, zone him out. Good hit there on that. That is now off cooldown and didn't do a whole lot to slow them down. The crits are coming through. The blue buff is on the ground. Magi's Blessing is active for the Bacchus to come around the way and clear this wave out and try to pressure it out. I mean, Smek's back up now. They can group up. It could be a 5 versus 5. The Fire Giant buff has fallen off and will be responding in 35 seconds.
And right now, TSM has the control for it. Of course, all of Cloud9 has respawned. Nowhere in sight do we see Sobek, but he does have 30 seconds to get here, possibly 40, including the time it takes to walk back. Youngbei and Cubo Fred here have actually opted to go back to the base and spend some of their money. And taking a look at it, they have spent a lot indeed. Cubo Fred is completely full build at this point with that 400 potion ticking. We see Youngbei, same situation. These games have been very long today, sitting at 4 minutes, getting closer to 45. TSM right now is going to be battling Cloud9 for this Fire Giant. Winner of this team fight really could end the game outright, but it's all going to be about the initiation here. Which team is going to take the opportunity to jump in, put themselves in danger to try to get the perfect opportunity to win this fight?
You know, it's all going to come down to the blink of an eye. I mean, the initiation could come out here. There's a tail up to break the Magi's Blessing.
Love it.
Beautiful play by Sun
Love
Touch.
it.
Understands the mechanics and just shuts that down. Mercury Ultimate is available. In fact, all 10 ultimates are available in this game, and this is the calm before the storm. Look at those crits on Sobek. Just taking too many shots and has to back off there, running away towards his teammates. The minions are spawning and pushing up. And then, you know, with all towers down, Cloud9 has a little bit of a push advantage, but it seems like TSM has spent the time to make sure those waves are pushed up, so they're not really in a whole lot of trouble. You're going to see Apollo try to split push here. He has the ultimate to be able to fly across the map and join his teammates if they're needing him, and so he's going to try to take this opportunity to go to their lane, take out a tower, get some pressure, but at the same time, we watched Cloud9 take out the Fire Giant prior. They took it very quickly. The damage output they're capable of is insane. The Mercury Ultimate's primed. There's the grab. Lobster has to get out of here. Pops the beats. The bomb comes down. He's still alive. Desert Fury's going to get the kill, and now Sonic Boom comes through. Doesn't get a whole lot of damage out. Sayo coming through. Freya, she's in the ultimate. She's looking for it. Apollo's in the eye. Dunks down on top. Frost, yeah, getting low. There's the Fist of the Gods. Vamana. He's hitting the dunks. He's getting on top of it. Does he have enough damage, though? Cloud9 is 1 for 1. 3 for 1 now. Apollo's dead. There goes Neath, and they're going to find Mercury for another kill. Was that a deicide?
Cloud9 actually forces a surrender vote out of TSM. This could be their opportunity. They're ignoring the Fire Giant. They're ignoring everything except for the win. They're going for the Minotaur right now. Frostiak jumping in there as well. They're getting the damage onto the Phoenix, but it's kind of low at this point. Well, actually, it switches to Frostiak. Frostiak dies! I don't know if they're going to have an opportunity or the damage enough to do this, but they do have 30 seconds available. They're going to have to be proper about switching off the damage here as Suntouch begins to get very, very low. Of course, Smek still full health at this point. It looks like they're going to commit. Game 1's going to Cloud9. GG.